It's the Dead Time Radio Show. I'm Billy, and here's Dawn.
Hello.
Tonight, we're going to talk about cool stuff. We're going to talk about creepy stuff.
Always.
We like creepy stuff. Creepy's cool.
Creepy's awesome.
How was your week, Dawn?
Oh, my God. Okay, so it was Billy's birthday was Sunday, and we got our asses kicked.
Because I wasn't there.
Because he wasn't here. He wasn't there. It was the longest day ever.
It was a rough night. But while she was working her butt off, I was sleeping.
Hey, man, that sounds like a good birthday to me.
Yeah, I suppose it was. I didn't want to sleep so much, though. That's what kind of bums me out.
Yeah, well, your body needed it.
I guess. Well, tonight, we're going to talk about something pretty cool. We're going to talk about 17... Well, not just 17, but eerie and incredible unsolved ancient mysteries from around the world.
Ancient mysteries.
I like that kind of stuff.
Me too.
Because it's kind of cool to look back and see we have not all the answers to everything that happened in history, and then like to see like people discover this stuff. Now,
people ask, hey, what's the secret of life? I think the secret of life is questions.
The answer is 42, Dawn.
I know, that's what my husband says. Eric says the answer is 42. I was like, 42. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
You have to watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's exactly what he said. And
or read the book.
Okay.
And then you will understand.
It's
a great book. And
I'll probably read the book.
There's different versions of the movie, but there's like one version that's like my favorite, and I can't remember who's in it, but it's really good. Really good.
Well, I think the questions you have, you're searching for answers. The more answers you get, the more questions you have.
Right.
Because you may have an answer to one question, well, then you've got 20 more questions.
Right.
So I think it's just maybe evolving.
Could be.
You need to always ask questions.
I agree.
Always question everything is what I tell my son.
That's right.
Until he does me, and then I'm very upset.
Exactly.
But I told him to do it.
But he needs to learn. The child must learn.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we found this really cool website that I saw while I was setting things up, and this one talks about 17 eerie and incredible unsolved ancient mysteries. So now you know why I said 17 in the beginning, because I was looking at the webpage while I was talking.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be more than 17, but we're starting with 17.
That's right.
Sometimes we don't get through the 17 because we have a lot of stuff to say.
Some of it's nonsensical stuff that I say, but hey.
Hey, that's why y'all listen. Y'all like to hear our nonsensical chatter.
That's right.
So thanks for listening. We love you guys. Goofy.
So if you guys really like what you're hearing, send us an email at thedeadtimeradio@gmail.com. And you can also click
call
on
us.
Yeah, you can call. Oh, I don't have the number sitting around here.
Guacamole.
Nobody calls. Nobody sends emails. Except Katie. Katie always sends emails.
Man.
And we love Katie.
You rock, man.
You can also become a patron if you'd like.
Yes.
Just click on the button. And if you give us any donations of more than $20, send us an email with your address, your name, and your shirt size, and we'll give you a t-shirt.
T-shirt.
How's that sound? Sounds cool to me. All right. So the first one that we have here is called the Devil's Bible. Yeah. Now, I've heard of this, and it's pretty cool. I'll read what it says, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Also referred to as the Codex Gigas. The Devil's Bible is a massive medieval tome written in the 13th century by a monk who is said to have made a deal with the devil in order to finish it. Oh, yeah. According to legend, the monk had been sentenced to be walled up alive as punishment for breaking his vows.
What?
That's some severe punishment.
Oh, man.
Holy crap. He promised the monastery that if they let him live, he would write a book that would contain all human knowledge in a single day. To fulfill this promise, the monk sold his soul to Lucifer.
Oh.
The real basis for this legend is likely the fact that even though the manuscript is extremely long, it appears to have been written by just one person over a relatively short period of time. Now, how do they know that? I mean, I can understand that they can tell if it was written by one person because they'll see different patterns in the writing and the drawings. But how do they know it was a relatively short period of time?
I don't know. Maybe the writing is continuous and I don't know.
It's not like he dated every fucking page.
No.
So the real basis for this legend is likely the fact that even though the manuscript is extremely long, I just read that.
Yeah.
Created using more than 160 animal skins and requiring 2 people to even lift it.
Wow.
The Codex Gigas contains the complete Latin translation of the Bible, as well as multiple other texts, including works by Hippocrates and Cosmas of Prague, not to mention medical formulas, texts on exorcisms, and a large depiction of the devil himself.
Oh.
12 pages of the original manuscript are missing, and what they might have contained remains a mystery. Some rumors say those pages contain secret satanic texts, perhaps even a method for conjuring the devil himself.
I think that would be what they would remove, because if you're writing a full, I mean, that's probably what the devil would want you to have in there.
Yeah. I don't know.
To conjure him so he could take over everything.
Now, I've heard that there's a couple of people who have looked at this book and think that it's actually a hoax, that it's fake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that it actually is not a book of the devil.
Do you think they made somebody say that?
Maybe.
They paid
Maybe
somebody
the devil.
to say you need
Maybe
to...
the devil said, hey, just tell everybody it's not real.
No, but the devil would want you to know.
No, but you know how the devil always says that the best way to believe in the devil is to denounce him and say he doesn't exist?
Yeah, because if somebody
say.
tells you not to do something, what are you going to do?
Right, exactly.
You do it. Because you told me not to.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the devil knows how your brain works.
Did you know that foosball is the devil?
Oh, I love foosball.
Bobby Boucher.
I love foosball, dude.
I'm talking football, not foosball.
Oh.
Didn't you ever watch that, Waterboy?
Yeah, a long time ago. I didn't.
Foosball is the devil.
Oh, that's funny.
The Nazca lines, I like these. These are
Ooh,
cool.
yeah, I love the
Apparently,
Nazca
like,
lines.
you can fly over Peru, and there's, like, all these different petroglyphs. I think that's the word I want. Of animals and people on the ground, and you can't see them unless you're up in the air. So it's, like, really weird how they got made. So a lot of people still speculate how they're made. But anyway, most people are likely aware of crop circles, sprawling circular patterns, often made in cornfields of farmers throughout the world, that are said to be created by extraterrestrials. They're possibly a form of communication, possibly a warning, but perhaps the most fascinating of these types of symbols, dubbed geoglyphs, I was close,
Yeah.
are the Nazca lines, found across the dry desert plains of southern Peru. Said to be created by the Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE, there are more than 100 of these massive glyphs depicting everything from simple lines to intricate designs of monkeys, humans, fish, jaguars, and birds. Although the symbols are recognizable, the true purpose of these glyphs is unknown. Some say the lines were created as a means of giving incoming sailors directions. Others say they were used for astronomical purposes as a way to signal the stars. Now let me ask you a question. How in the fuck is a sailor going to see that if it's in the fucking mountains?
Good question.
The last I remember, there's no fucking sea that's
Incoming
up in
sailors.
the Andes Mountains.
Well, I guess if it's on the side of a mountain, a sailor's going to see it.
It's the desert plains of Peru. So it's southern Peru. I still don't see. And yeah, you got to be up in the air to see them.
So maybe they have a hawk fly out or something. You know, that's
I don't know, man. These are cool as shit though, because it's like even if it wasn't aliens, okay? Because a lot of people speculate these are like landing strips for UFOs and shit.
Right.
But even if it wasn't aliens, can you imagine the amount of precision you need to have hundreds of people go out in the middle of the desert and
Yep.
line up rocks
Yep.
to look like that? And
Yep.
and how do you know if it's right unless you can go up in the air? So that also leads to the question, what technology have we lost that we're finding again?
Exactly. So I was listening to another podcast this week. It's funny that this comes up, Mysterious Universe, and they were talking about the Nazca lines, and they were saying that they were like power lines. Like that's where you build your churches if you want
Like ley lines?
power. Yeah, like ley lines. And yeah. So it's just super cool how they go over mountains. Like, they don't go the path of least resistance. So I'm wondering if it follows, like, the shadow of the sun at certain times, or...
Yeah, kind of like different monoliths that you see are all lined up, either astrological or with the sun seasons.
Right. Yeah. So this astronomical purposes. Yeah. So it's got like their...
I said astrological, didn't I?
You did.
Dumbass.
Yeah. So I think maybe they using the power of the stars.
I still think they're really cool. And it's like awesome to know that our civilization before us wasn't as fucking stupid as everybody says they were.
No.
In fact, they were probably smarter than us.
They got rid of it because it was a threat.
Yeah.
Knowledge is a threat. The more that you know, the more dangerous you are. So that's why they try to tamp us down and try to take our information away.
Exactly.
But things are coming out that we have no idea about. And we're just, like, a lot of people are just like, well, that's not believable. Well, obviously it is, because, like, people have already built these.
Yet these same people will believe that our government has our best interests at heart.
Well, that's like thinking that I mean, it's normal. You think your parents know everything. You think your parents are doing what's in the best interest for you, but they're doing what's in the best interest for them by retaining information that they would feel would be detrimental to you. So that's kind of what the government is. It's like your parents that think they're doing the right thing, but they're not.
No. I disagree.
So.
I think the government just wants to fucking control your life.
Okay, I hear that. I respect that.
All right.
You don't think parents do the same thing?
No, I think parents are just trying to prep you to be able to take care of yourself when they're not there anymore. Okay. At least that's what my parents did. They taught me to be self-reliant.
Okay.
And I think that's... And they want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes they made.
I think around here, your parents raised you to take care of them. They had kids so that when they are sick, that the kids take care of them.
Yeah, my parents...
Like, I was watching American
like
Idol, and there was a guy that freaking has an amazing voice, and he had a chance before to try out for American Idol. Well, his mom had a stroke, and his mom clearly said he had to come home and take care of me. No, he didn't. Guess what? He has his own life. Guess what? You did not have kids to take care of you. You should have taken care of yourself. You set yourself up to be able to be taken care of by hospital.
That's not all parents, though. That's like
around here,
selfish
yes.
people.
Around here, no.
Yeah.
I have friends that say, "Oh, my kids," and they tell their kids, "Oh, you're going to take care of me when I get older, right? You're the good boy." And I'm thinking, that's fucked up, dude. Don't do that to your kids.
That is fucked up.
Your kids are going to feel like that's their job and their path is to take care of you. No, dude. It's not right. I'm sorry.
I feel lucky then because my parents
digress.
were always really good to me growing up, and they always taught us how to take care of ourselves. You don't owe anybody anything, but you have to earn everything. And I became a better person for it. I love my parents; they're fucking awesome. But yes, I know what you're talking about.
You're not from around here, so
there are some. You're not from around here,
You're
are
not
you?
from around here, are you?
There are some parents that are just fucking selfish.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Yep.
All right. That was a nice tangent.
Continue, yes.
Underwater ruins of Japan. Now, I've seen some videos of this stuff. It's kind of cool, and there's a lot of conjecture and speculation on these, too. Submerged just off the coast of Yanaguni-jima is Japan's own Atlantis, a sprawling underwater city believed to be at least 5,000 years old, first discovered by a diver in 1995. The city was initially believed to be nothing more than a bizarre series of natural rock formations, all of which mysteriously featured perfect right angles and straight lines. Later, searches revealed everything from a large stone gateway to carved stairways and streets to vaulting towers. Believed to be the former city of the Jomon people, perhaps experts theorize that the city didn't exactly quote-unquote fall into the sea like the fabled Atlantis, but rather became submerged as sea levels rose over thousands of years. As scientists continue to research the underwater site, many believe this particular site could hold key information to other possible underwater cities around the world.
So I have a question. Do you think when the Earth's axis tilted, do you think that's when all the water shifted? I mean, because they're finding seashells on top of mountains that are not in deserts. So
I think that the sea levels were higher than they are now. And yeah, I'm sure the axis shift has something to do to push the water around, and maybe that's what the great flood fable that you hear about in almost every...
So you think that might be this?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know how long ago it flooded, you know? Right. Nobody really knows. It says 5,000 years.
Right.
Which, I mean, that sounds about right, but human civilization has been around longer than 10,000 years. And they're finding that out now. They're finding a whole bunch of stuff that they were like, wait a minute. And I'm hoping it has it in this list. And if it doesn't, we'll look it up. But Göbekli Tepe is a perfect example. It's like a whole shrine that wasn't buried from time. It was intentionally buried.
Why?
I don't know, but it's got like hieroglyphs and stuff like that are advanced for the cultures that were in that area, and it's in Turkey. So they think that maybe it was an advanced civilization that built it.
So what happened
and it's
to the
older than
civilization?
Egypt. It's older than the Egyptian
So
stuff.
they just died off, or
nobody knows.
like
Nobody
where did
knows.
we lose the information?
Why would they bury it?
Yeah,
That's my question.
because they wanted to
you know,
hide something.
Yeah, because in Egypt they always find stuff that's been buried from the sand and wind and all that
Right.
stuff. This was intentionally buried. It makes no sense. I don't know
Like
what
the
it
only
is.
reason why we bury shit is to cover it up. Like we have landfills that we bury, and then
Right,
we
but-
bury our dead, and we bury like what are they trying? We
I
bury
wonder-
nuclear waste. Why
maybe-
would you do that? Because then
Maybe
it's gonna,
it was a place of power and they didn't want anybody to find it.
someone that had the power didn't want anybody else to have
Yeah.
the power, so they're just like cover it up.
Yeah, maybe. Roman dodecahedrons.
Ooh,
Unlike many other ancient artifacts, there are actually about 100 of these mysterious objects floating around, typically made of either stone or bronze. The hollow Roman dodecahedrons have 12 sides with a small circle on each and pegs jutting out from the connecting counters.
that's wicked.
Although they resemble nautical devices, the purpose of these dodecahedrons is unknown. They were playing D&D back then.
I was gonna say that looks like a kid's toy. You
It's
know
a
how like the
12-sided
circle
die.
thing where it has like a circle and a triangle and a square, and you have to put the block in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a
You mean the
kid's
ones
toy.
that some adults still can't even fucking figure
Yes,
out?
just keep hitting it; it'll go. So, no, that's what it looks like. So, is this a kid's toy?
Yeah, I don't know.
We just found it, and we're just like, oh, what is this made of? This
Right.
is so magical, and it's just like, no, dude, that was my fucking kid's toy
Well,
5,000 years ago.
Historians have guessed everything from fortune tellers to candle holders. Some say they were used for astrological or religious means. Experts have dated them as far back as the 2nd and 3rd centuries and suggest they were used to sow winter grains or even to calibrate water pipes for Roman architects. Either way, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like the circles, the little nubbies look like you put circles on it, or that's where you hold the shit that you put inside the circle.
Yeah. Or
Like
it
they're
could be like a
donuts.
measurement type of thing to hold like measuring string or something. And they just wrapped it around those pegs.
Yeah, but what's the circles for?
I don't know. That's
I don't
kind of
know.
weird.
It's just a toy, dude.
Yeah, it
They
probably
sold it
is.
at Toys R Us before it. Toys R Us went away.
Oh, fuck.
That was a baby gift I bought last year. Where'd you get that?
The king list. Going all the way back to the 3rd millennium BCE is the Sumerian king list, a listing of all Sumer kings, their respective dynasties, locations, and times in power. While this may not seem like too much of a mystery, it's what is inscribed along with the list of kings that makes it so interesting. There are mythological elements embedded within it. Along with a who's who of Sumerians in power, the king list also incorporates events such as the Great Flood and the tales of Gilgamesh, stories that are often referred to as simple fables. Theorists take this to mean that the Old Testament stories were true, or that kings listed were actually gods or demigods.
So this looks like a column that somebody wrote, that somebody
Yeah.
kept, and just wrote everybody's name on it.
That's pretty cool. And
That's
it's in
cool.
cuneiform, so
It's pretty cool.
I believe that a lot of these quote-unquote fables were actually things that happened.
Yeah, that's what fables, all fables have a semblance of
Which
truth
is
in it.
kind of like
And
our
then-
last episode when we
Yeah,
talked
exactly.
about fairy tales and nursery rhymes.
Yes. Well, not the last episode y'all heard, but the last episode we recorded it. So yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Y'all need to listen to that one. That's one of my favorites.
Easter Island's Rongo Rongo writings. I like that word.
Ooh,
Rongo
Rongo,
Rongo.
Rongo. Say that fast. Rongo, 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 Rongo.
Easter Island has many strange mysteries associated with it, and the large Moai statues are the most famous. However, some people that the entire island was once used by that
This
that
must be thought.
sentence.
Some people thought the entire. It has to be thought instead of that.
It must have been.
Because it'll flow better.
See,
However, some people
when somebody
thought
has
the entire
fucked up grammar, it throws
It
me
does
off.
stop you in your tracks.
Fucking
dude.
idiots.
We need to do a grammar podcast, dude.
If you're going to be a journalist and write articles, learn your fucking English. Yes, I'm a grammar Nazi.
I don't think Grammarly would catch that.
Seek hyphen. All right. However, some people that thought the entire island was once used by extraterrestrials as a means to communicate as well. But there is still another strange mystery linked to the famous Polynesian lands, an intricate series of glyphs believed to be writing or proto-writing, an earlier form of communication based on symbols rather than characters. First discovered by Eugene Iraud in 1864, the glyphs are said to go back to around 1200 and feature imagery similar to that of other religious signs found in the area. To date, scientists have not been able to determine exactly what the glyphs say or link them to any outside cultures. The symbols were carved on wood using small obsidian flakes or shark teeth.
Cool.
That is cool. Assuming that Rongo Rongo is indeed a form of writing, it would be a fascinating example of an entirely unique language that formed independently by itself on an isolated island, which, of course, that would be the way it is.
Yeah.
If you've never had any interaction with the outside world, you're going to end up communicating. Looking at some of these, they look like creatures. Like this one looks like a devil or something.
Alien on that one.
This looks like a hammerhead shark with hands.
Oh, he's doing jazz hands.
Yeah, he's doing jazz hands.
He has 2 triangles on the sides of his head, and he's doing jazz hands. Both hands are up by his head, and then he's got wiggly feet.
Hammerhead jazz hands.
Hammerhead jazz hands.
I see some stuff like there's a fish.
Yep.
This is probably like a shrimp or some type of sea creature.
It's got like a pointy tail, yeah.
And then
we need to do video again.
That's probably a bird. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That looks like a palm tree.
Yeah. This one?
No, the one at the top up there with looked like the line with the 3 coconuts on the side.
This one?
That one might be a palm tree.
Yeah, maybe. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
The Sajama lines. It's probably Sahama. Who the fuck knows? Western Bolivia's Sajama lines are a series of massive drawings etched into the earth, kind of like Nazca lines.
Yeah.
Numbering into the thousands. First discovered in 1932 by Amy Felix Schiffley, the lines between 3 to 10 feet wide individually connect about 8,700 square miles via an intricate web-like design. Because of this, they are not only the largest archaeological site in the Andes, but possibly in the entire world. Question remains, what is the purpose behind these mysterious lines? Scientists have deduced that they were originally created by the indigenous people who lived near the Sajama volcano, but for reasons unknown. Some have speculated they were used for religious purposes. I think they were used as roads. Because if you look at the picture, they look like roads.
Roads.
If you look at like Google Map and you look at our own roads,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a neighborhood right there.
Right. These could be village connections.
Yep.
And if they didn't build their villages out of rocks and stuff, eventually that stuff would go away.
Yeah.
And the roads would still be there. That's just my
It looks like your neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, and they actually have things like that on Etsy where you can print out the street view, and it looks like that, you're right, of where you met.
Yeah.
Like where you had your first date and then where you got married, stuff like that. Like you can have a little circle printout of...
That's cool.
Yeah, like that. So yeah, you're right. It does look like a little neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like on Zillow or something.
Like
Google Maps.
If you look over here, that's where the Walmart was.
There you go. That's it. That's the parking lot.
Yeah.
There's the big church right there.
I don't know.
3 square miles.
I don't understand how they could not figure that out. I mean, I don't know. Not all scientists are smart. The Helionikon Pyramid. While it's fairly common to label the Egyptian pyramids the stuff of quote-unquote ancient mysteries, it's something entirely new to discover similar structures all around the world. Such is the case with the pyramids of Argolis, Greece, and their most famous structure, the Helionikon Pyramid. The true purpose of the Helionikon remains unknown, although experts have theorized that a battle once took place at the site, and the structure was subsequently built as a monument to those who died, although nothing has been found within the pyramid's walls to provide evidence of an actual tomb. While the mystery of what's inside the Helionikon is certainly intriguing, what truly fascinates theorists is the fact that it was supposedly built in 2720 BCE, making it significantly older than any of the Egyptian pyramids.
Oh.
You know, Egypt doesn't have the fucking patent on building pyramids. There were pyramids in South America as well, and in Mexico.
In Mexico, there's a lot.
So, to me, it sounds like those ancient cultures, that was like the most stable building of the time. So they would build
a
their
triangle
temples
is.
and their tombs in something that was stable.
Right, a triangle is the strongest.
Right, until new architecture came around.
Right, or the Egyptians could have traveled around
Right.
and saw them. They're like, hey, that's cool. We're going to make
Yeah.
ours bigger and better.
Greece isn't really that far from
colorful.
Egypt. It's just
No,
right
yeah.
across the street,
Yep.
across the Mediterranean.
Hey, man, I was over there across the street.
Right.
And they got a cool triangle that they built. We're going to build one bigger,
Yeah.
more colorful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, well, this is saying that this was built before the Egyptian ones.
Yeah, 2720 before.
Maybe
Yeah.
the people that lived here went to Egypt and was like, this place is cool.
It's cool.
Green, and
Yep.
this was before it was desert, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of cool, though.
I want to go to Greece.
I always
That's one of the
like-
places on my list.
Yeah. I always like seeing cool stuff like other civilizations that have the same architecture.
Yeah.
And then you find out that it's actually older than Egyptian architecture, because that's
Yeah.
supposed to be like the historical point
Correct.
in everything where technology was more advanced than before.
Right.
But then now they're finding stuff that's older than that, and it's the same shit.
So Egyptians are just copycats.
Right.
But they took all the credit.
Right.
Yeah.
The Antikythera mechanism. I've seen this thing. This thing's kind of cool.
That looks like the opening to, what am I trying to think of? Submarine. You know how like you have the wheel that unlocks the door really big?
the,
like over here in Charleston, they have the naval area where you can go in.
bulkhead door.
Bulkhead, there you go.
At some point between 70 and 60 BCE, a Greek ship heading from Asia Minor to Rome sank in the Mediterranean. When a group of sponge divers discovered the wreck in 1900, why are they diving for sponges? They could just go to the store and buy them.
Because somebody's had to get the sponges to put them in the store.
They salvaged 3 pieces of bronze comprising a device that became known as the Antikythera mechanism. The artifact, which is roughly the size of a shoebox, puzzled scholars for more than a century, largely because the sophistication of its gears and internal workings are far beyond any known Greek technology of the time. In fact, the Antikythera mechanism has long been a favorite of fringe academics, claiming it as evidence of alien visitations in ancient history. X-rays of the artifact in the late 20th century revealed, however, that is designed to track astronomical movements. This
Cool.
finding was confirmed by 2006 CT scans.
CT scan.
Woohoo!
Woo.
Revealing inscriptions that are instructions for what is functionally an ancient computer.
What?
While its use as an astronomical measure is no longer mysterious, the Antikythera mechanism's singularly advanced construction and precision still pose questions about Greek technology.
So if that was a huge computer, then that thing that looks like a wheel is actually a fan.
No, it's a gear.
They had to keep it cool if it was
It's
a
a-
computer. That's a big ass fan, dude.
Yeah. I like
That's
this thing
cool.
because it's really cool. Like, they didn't know what it was. First, they thought it was a puzzle, and then they thought, well, maybe it's some type of astronomical thing. But
Yep. Hey,
it's-
let's
it's-
CT it.
Yeah, I
store it
wish
on
we
the CT
could.
scanner.
How cool would that
That'd
be?
be so cool.
I
If
would
we
have
had our
loved to
own
have been that
CT,
tech to do
then
that.
find shit and just put it in there going, oh, did
Yeah.
you see that? That's so cool.
I would
Ooh,
love.
let's 3D it. Let's put
Dude.
it in 3D.
Yeah, 3D recon.
3D recon. Yeah, dude.
Fucking awesome.
And then you could take it apart like a, disassembled bomb. It's super cool. So you can totally
Yeah.
look, take this piece out.
That would
It's
be so
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'd love somebody to recreate that and make it
How do you
in a
get
working
to be that
thing.
CT tech? Like, you have to put in an application? Like,
No,
I want a
it's-
CT artifact? So
it's
they just take it to the
probably-
hospital?
They probably like, they probably take it to some clinic or something, and then the doctor becomes an asshole. It's like, I'm gonna scan this. It's like, all right, dude, go ahead. Are you gonna fucking order a PE chest on it too?
It may be allergic to iodine.
I need to get a CTA on this stat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been submerged in water for thousands of years. It might have pneumonia. Fucking assholes. The Baghdad batteries. I've heard of these too. These are some cool things. In 1838, while working in what is now Iraq, German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig, ooh, I said that nicely.
You
didn't I?
did, man.
Found a number of clay jars, each containing an iron rod which encased in a copper cylinder. Koenig published a paper in which he theorized the objects were ancient batteries or galvanic cells. That would be an amazing technological development given the age of the objects. They date to the Parthian era, or about 200 BCE, according to Elizabeth Stone, a leading authority on Iraqi art and archaeology. Experts don't subscribe to the battery theory. An alternate theory suggests the containers were used for storing scrolls, which would have wrapped around the iron rod and been contained in the copper cylinder. This theory has its roots in the Seleucia vessels, similar objects from a nearby ancient city. Despite the opposition to Koenig's theory, Smith College art history professor Dr. Marjorie Seneschal had students build replicas of the device which produced voltage. If they were batteries, they worked. Theories as to what such a battery would have been used for range from medicinal practices to printing money, creating metal plating, and making jewelry.
Ooh.
I don't understand why you would want to wrap a scroll around metal, because that metal would eventually eat through the fucking paper.
Correct.
Especially if it's an acidic metal like copper.
Correct.
So
it would have to be a battery.
Right. The only logical thing would be it was a battery.
Yes.
Which all you would have to do is put that copper in there, and then you got the iron in there to create the electromagnetism, and then just pour citric acid in there. So
that
anything
may have
like
been
any
a light.
juice.
A light or something.
Yeah, like it could have been a battery for lighting your house.
Yeah, inside. Yeah.
So
Cool.
That's really awesome. That thing was pretty
cool.
tall too. They were like big.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that kind of stuff. Make my own batteries like that. It's probably pretty easy. I'd probably be looked at weirdly though if I went to the store and bought like 15 gallons of orange juice.
Are you sick, man? Do you have the
Right.
vid? Do you have the COVID?
I need to get my vitamin C.
We got some vitamin C.
The giant stone spheres of Costa Rica.
Those are cool.
Since the 1940s, archaeologists have been unearthing mysterious stone spheres in the Dickwis
Dickwis.
Delta of Costa Rica. Initially discovered during I can't fucking speak.
Agricultural
forays
forays.
undertaken by the United Fruit Company. These objects range in size from a few centimeters to over 2 meters in diameter, with some weighing as much as 16 tons. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Oh, sorry.
That was awesome.
All of the all the spheres are man-made objects formed from the igneous stone known as granodiorite. Although many of the structures have been transported to various high-profile locations in Costa Rica or are owned privately, their origin in the Dickwis Valley remains unexplained.
That's what killed the dinosaurs.
I
It
wonder.
looks like
I wonder if they were like
asteroid.
submerged in water, and that's why they were smoothed out.
I don't know.
Maybe they were rolling, because I mean they're pretty fucking
They're
smooth.
smooth. Yeah.
And you know when you look at river rocks and stuff, they're smooth like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but they're not completely perfectly round.
Right. Neither
They're
are
just
those.
Those
Those aren't
I don't know,
completely.
those look like
they're spheres, but
bullets
they're not
for
like.
a massive cannon or something.
Maybe they could be like old catapult bullets.
Yeah. Like you put it in one of those
16.
pull back
Can you imagine?
shoot it over
Dude,
the
I saw one of these
castle
one
wall.
time on Indiana Jones.
Ooh, I did too. That's the one that rolled at him.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. See?
Gigantic fucking metal.
No one
stone
questioned
ball.
what the stone was or
That's
where it
right.
came from. He was just running.
Yeah,
Who made that stone?
that's what I want to know too.
That's exactly. We need to keep
The-
asking questions.
The Bach bodies of Northern Europe. I like these. These are so cool because it's like perfectly
Look
preserved.
At his face.
He's
even just
perfect.
wrinkled.
Even his fucking hair.
Look at
is
that, his little chin
perfectly-
hair.
He was killed. He was choked
He
to
had a
death.
broke nose.
He had
Somebody
a rope.
punched the
He
shit
had
out
a
of his
rope around
face.
his neck. Don't you see,
I don't
see the rope?
No, it looks
right
like
there.
cloth.
See where the mouse is? That's
Looks
rope.
like cloth.
That's rope.
They could put rope on the top of their clothes.
Since the 18th century, hundreds of incredibly well-preserved human cadavers have been discovered in the peat bogs of northern Europe. These bodies have been forensically dated to as far back as 8000 BCE.
Dude.
The famous Tolen man, discovered in 1950 by two Danish farmers in a small town in Denmark, lived in the pre-Roman Iron Age of the 3rd century BCE. He was so well preserved that the contents of his stomach were used to establish when he lived.
Dude.
Despite the different demographic makeup of these corpses in terms of age, sex, and social standing, there's one mysterious and unexplained commonality in their composition. They seem to have been deliberately executed and placed in the bogs, with no explanation as to why this method of disposal would be utilized. Researchers speculate that perhaps they were sacrifices or social outcasts.
They put them in there so they didn't have to bury them. Because that's like in
Well, they thought
Ireland,
maybe that,
you
like,
have
the-
to be careful around the bogs because you can fall in. They're like quicksand.
Well, yeah, and maybe they thought that if they threw them out in the bogs, then the creatures would eat them.
Yeah, but they're...
But this thing was like they just sunk into the ground and were preserved from all
Yeah, he was.
It's just fucking weird, man.
That's cool. You can
Yeah.
see the wrinkles under his eyes, and
Yeah.
he still has eyebrows, and that's cool.
That I would love to see that in person.
That's cool. It probably smells though.
Probably.
You have problems with smells,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you would have to stand behind the glass wall.
I wonder if he smells like Band-Aids.
He might smell like Band-Aids. Okay, Billy thinks that redheads smell like Band-Aids.
When they sweat. Only when they
we
sweat.
sweat, we smell like Band-Aids.
They do. You
Like
guys-
us as a whole,
Now
generally.
watch. People are going to be like walking around
Smelling
sniffing
redheads. Don't smell redheads, please. Do
Don't-
not. This is a PSA. Do not take Billy's advice and smell redheads.
Don't Joe Biden
Sweaty.
redheads.
Oh, you totally went there. Do not Joe Biden redheads. That's correct.
Outside of Cusco, Peru. Oh, I got to say this
You gotta
word
say
because
this,
it's got the
okay.
word sack in it.
Sac-
Cusco's Sacsayhuaman Fortress walls.
Sacsay woman.
Sacsayhuaman. Outside of Cusco, Peru, you'll find a remarkable walled fortress constructed out of perfectly fitted boulders, some weighing over 200 tons, known as Sacsayhuaman. Sacsayhuaman.
Sexy Wayman. That's a sexy Wayman.
The exact construction date is unknown, although the structure is ancient enough to predate the Incas themselves.
Ooh.
While the function of Sacsayhuaman as a fortress and a ceremonial location is well documented, the process of how this massive fortification was constructed is still not understood. The gaps between the rocks are so thin that a piece of paper will not even fit between them.
Oh.
Engineering that required a massive amount of manpower and technological expertise to assemble. No one has determined how this process was accomplished, although theories abound. Some people believe that a liquid extracted from plants rendered the boulders lighter and more malleable, or that heat allowed the rocks to be forced together. Others think that the building was constructed from a complicated wooden temple. And then, of course, some think it's aliens. Because I've seen, there's some other place up there in the Andes. That place has got some cool shit. But
The Andes,
there's
yeah.
this giant temple up there that there's the way the stones are carved. It was not used carved with tools.
How are they
It
carved?
was almost like it was melted out
Laser.
where
Ooh,
the
cool.
carving was.
Cool.
Like the rock was completely melted out.
Into
and
a
there's
form?
in the shape of an H and all this other
Oh,
stuff.
in a form.
And then they fit perfectly just like that. They fit together so well you can't even slide a piece of paper in between them.
Wow. That kind of looks like the Lord of the Rings. You know that one?
Right.
Fortress that
The
this one's
Rohirrim.
in Peru. Yeah.
Rohan. There's a lot of cool stuff up there, and it's like a lot of these structures stand so well still because there's not a lot of wind or rain. It's very dry up there.
Right.
So it's just awesome to see that stuff.
Peru's down.
No, it's
Peru
up in the
down?
Andes. The Andes
You
go
mean
all
like
the way
mountains?
up.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant like down. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Laos's Plain of Jars. In the northern Jiangquang province of Laos, a bizarre collection of large circular objects dot the countryside, believed to be over 200 years old.
2000.
Oh, 2000. The
love
best
you.
guess concerning the function of these cylinders located on the Plain of Jars is that they had some role in an ancient funeral rite. Constructed of sandstone and weighing at least a ton, these objects reside in an area which suffered greatly during the American quote-unquote secret war. Many of the cylinders were damaged or shattered by missiles. Today, visitors are not allowed to visit most of the ancient sites, which have not been cleared of active cluster bombs.
Ooh.
Dude,
They look
If
like
you're-
huge anthills
if you're going to visit
anywhere.
anywhere that's like a funeral site, that would be the perfect place, because if you do step
you
on a
blow-
cluster bomb,
Oh.
you're good.
You're not supposed to stand.
You don't have to get buried.
So they're going to say, don't step on other people's graves.
Right.
And then you do it because you're an asshole.
Right. And you get
blown
cluster
up.
bomb blowing you up, and you land in one of those jars.
You land in one of those jars.
Your pieces fly everywhere.
with your head first and your feet sticking
I
out.
think it's a win-win.
Like one crazy summer where he's in the boat.
Yeah.
It was or the Jaws mouth. Remember he's in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shark mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is kind of cool, though.
That
It's
looks
like
super
just
cool.
a field of jars. Big.
Field of jars.
I bet that's probably what it was, is a burial thing. They would stuff the bodies in those jars and then seal them.
Do you think that they cremated them first?
No, I think
I
they
think
just stuffed the
shoved
bodies
the
in
whole
there.
body in there.
Probably like broke the bones
And
so
then
it
when
would
they
twist in
rotted
there.
down, then they just put more in there?
Yeah,
Oh, they should have planted a tree or something.
maybe. I don't know.
Then that would be a jar of trees.
Right.
But they're just empty. It looks creepy because it's like foggy.
Yeah, but I mean, if you would think it was an ancient funeral rite, maybe they dismembered the bodies and put them in there, and then that's how they.
Oh, like an arm and a
That's
leg.
how they cremated them. Maybe
think
those
they
jars
put 'em
were
in
for
there.
burning the bodies.
Right, that's what I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Start like a fire around
but
it,
you
and
would think
would melt down.
You would think that scientists would still risk the cluster bombs and go out there and test it. But I don't know.
You could do that LiDAR and see if you can see any of the bombs.
Yeah, but you still got to go. Yeah,
Because
I don't
that
know.
like peels back all the
Yeah,
layers of. You may be able to see it with LiDAR. That would be
Fucking
cool
crazy.
to do a little bit more research on that.
Hell yeah. Malta's hypogeum of Halsaflieni. The hypogeum of Halsaflieni was not even discovered until 1902. Perhaps initially a sanctuary and ultimately a burial place of some kind, the hypogeum is the only preserved example of subterranean labyrinth architecture in Europe. In use from 4000 to 2500 BCE, the structure has 3 levels that are painted with ornate designs and architecture carved out of the rock.
Cool.
The most mysterious aspects of the edifice is a special chamber known as the Oracle Chamber, in which words spoken at a normal volume are amplified 100 times and audible throughout the entire structure.
Ooh.
That's kind of cool.
That's cool, man.
Whether this design feature was intentional and how it was used is unknown. Maybe it was like a theater.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it was like their first radio.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like...
But then somebody really aggravating would stand in the corner and just play an annoying
Maybe
tune,
it's like...
and
if
everybody could hear it.
They probably had a temple on top of it, and the oracle was in there, and they would
Talking.
ask the question, and then the
Ooh.
oracle's voice would boom up so it would sound like
Do
they were
not
speaking to the gods.
Pay attention to the man behind the
Right.
curtain.
Kind of like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, dude. Totally. That looks cool. Let's make one of those.
Be like, does the girl in the hut next to me really like me? Dude, you're totally gonna get laid. That would be cool.
Doesn't say witchcraft. I think he would probably be honest about that. No, she doesn't go that way. She likes girls.
You're out of luck, dude. She likes girls.
He's an oracle, so he would know those things.
Right.
Yeah.
North America's White Shaman Rock. In the lower Pecos River Canyon in southwestern Texas, a 4,000-year-old rock painting has mystified archaeologists. Known as the White Shaman Rock, the 24-foot cave painting has been interpreted as a depiction of warriors in battle, as well as a recreation of tribal members interacting with the spirit world after using peyote.
Ooh.
The ancient drawing is one of the numerous cave paintings in the area attributed to the Huichol tribe. Huichol, a group of hunter-gatherers who avoided contact with European settlers based on their remote Sierra Madre mountain habitat. No one is exactly sure what role these paintings played in tribal life or what they even depict. How is that like... I don't understand how that's unsolved. If they know who did it, then that's not really an unsolved mystery, is it?
I have a question.
What?
I have another mystery to go along with this mystery. How did they get up 24 feet to paint on the cave? Did they make ladders, or did they have... What, like, how did they get up there to paint it? 24 feet. That's 2.5 stories.
Well, I'm sure they probably built
In a
something
hotel.
to step on. That's like a 2-story house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably had ladders and shit.
Yeah, but can you imagine standing on the side of a ladder?
Well, maybe
painting?
they built scaffolding.
That's what I mean. They may have
Scaffolding's been
built
around for
scaffolding.
ages.
So they intentionally, but that could be just be a kid drawing on
Maybe
there
they floated.
instead of.
Dude,
putting
how
kids-
funny would that be if
That's a kid
all the
painting.
fucking
It
petroglyphs
is.
and stuff that people find a
I will
pictogram?
build you a scaffolding if that's
Right.
going to keep you entertained
Right.
for 8 hours. No shit, man. I would absolutely build scaffolding for my kid and let you draw on the wall.
Quit
and then all
putting
of
your
us are
finger
like,
in the sheep's butt.
that is. Do you know what that is?
What?
That is the mystery, and that is made by the UFOs. No,
Right.
that's made by a 5-year-old kid that you just fucking put him on a scaffolding
Instead of
so he
putting
can
his
draw
finger
on
in
the
the
wall.
sheep's butt all the time.
Yes.
Here's a fucking rock
Here's
and a
crayon.
brush. Go play with the
Crayon.
fucking...
Okay, Jimmy, I've only got 3 colors. We
Right.
got blue, we got red, we got yellow. This is what you got to work with. And he just draws like all these people on the wall.
Yeah,
That's funny. That's exactly how they came.
that's probably it.
But the 24-foot You got to have put a 5-year-old on a 24-foot scaffolding.
Yeah. Well, back then, there weren't any fucking OSHA
Hey, if
laws.
he falls, we'll just
we'll just make another kid.
He'll be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's a win-win.
Right. Well,
we're getting nice.
With your theory, though, why is a kid using peyote?
No, that's our interpretation. The reason why they think it's peyote is because it's a 5-year-old.
Well, or
when you use peyote, you pretty much act like a 5-year-old.
Maybe and maybe that's how they were able to get up to 24 feet.
You think they floated?
They were floating
they had
from the peyote.
Nice. That's a good theory. I like mine better, but...
Turkey's Göbekli Tepe. This is one of my favorite things that they've found. It's so fucking cool. In 2008, Klaus Schmidt discovered a site in Turkey that is believed to be the first temple ever assembled by mankind, known as the Göbekli Tepe. This massive carved stone structure dates back to 11,000 BCE and predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years.
Dude.
The temple was built before the advent of metal tools or even pottery. Essentially a set of T-shaped pillars and stone rings, these structures are adorned with crude drawings of various animals, including lions and spiders. Mm-hmm. The site has already provided new information about the formation of societal evolution, but what exactly those drawings mean and the specific function of the temple is still undetermined. But like I was telling you earlier, the thing that freaks me out about it or trips me out about it is the fact that it was intentionally buried. It wasn't buried from like the ravages of the environment or anything like that. It was intentionally buried. So was it a worship site that had a lot of power, or was it, just 5-year-old kids and that was their Lincoln Logs?
Right, and we just covered it up like you put concrete in a pool when you're done with the pool.
Yeah, it's just the coolest thing ever.
So
man.
they're saying now that Stonehenge where they would put all of their seeds inside the Stonehenge to germinate or to give it more power, so when they buried them in the dirt, it would yield more crop.
Yeah.
So this could have been maybe this.
It had to be something agricultural or astronomical.
You're right. It could have just been a jungle gym.
Right. Or it could have been the world's first playground.
Jungle gym.
Wouldn't it be funny if a lot of these things were basically that was
I would love it. That's like finding
hilarious.
out that dinosaurs fucking have feathers. It's
right.
like we've all thought that they were lizards, but now they have feathers. So
yeah.
Can you imagine being in dinosaur times with dinosaurs flying around you?
Yeah, that'd be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So here's one, the Lost Labyrinth of Ancient Egypt.
Ooh.
This I have actually seen work beyond words, for if anyone put together the buildings of the Greeks in display of their labors, they would seem lesser in both effort and expense to this labyrinth. Even the pyramids are beyond words, and each was equal to many and mighty works of the Greeks, yet the labyrinth surpasses even the pyramids.
So they got tired of the corn mazes, so they made one out of stone.
Yeah.
Y'all are tearing up my corn.
Maybe they couldn't build corn in Egypt because
you don't build corn.
Or
you
plant
have corn,
yeah.
and then you put a maze in it, so you get lost.
These are the words of ancient Greek historian Herodotus, written in the 5th century BC, describing a colossal temple said to contain 3,000 rooms full of hieroglyphs and paintings. It was named Labyrinth by the Greeks after the complex maze of corridors designed by Daedalus for King Minos of Crete, where the legendary Minotaur dwelt.
I was going to say, that's where the Minotaur was.
Right. Yet today, nothing remains of this supposedly grand temple complex, at least not on the surface.
So they put the Minotaur in there, and he couldn't figure out how to get out, because he had to figure out left and right, so he just died in there.
It's pretty cool.
That's cool. I'd like to go through. I like labyrinths. I like mazes. There's one in Virginia that I can't remember what the name of it is. Shenandoah Valley has a really cool one. It's made out of hedges. It's super cool. But yeah, you go a dead end, you got to turn around and figure out how to get back out of it. I love mazes, corn mazes.
There it is. Puma Punku.
H.
That's what it was called. See? Isn't that cool?
That's the Hilton Hotel.
Right. That's probably what those are.
That's Hilton Hotel.
Around the
See, it's got a door in the middle
right.
of it.
Enduring mystery surrounds the ancient site of Puma Punku, Around the world, we can find numerous examples of ancient stone cuttings so precise that they rival creations of the modern day produced with advanced machinery. But one of the most impressive examples can be found in Pumapunku. I love that fucking just saying
Just
that.
saying it.
An ancient archaeological site in Bolivia, dated by some historians to be 17,000 years old. Wow. That contains such incredible stonework that it looks as if the stones were cut using a diamond tool.
Ooh.
Enormous blocks weighing up to 800 tons consist of perfectly straight edges that lock perfectly into each other and contain no chisel marks.
That's wicked.
Yeah. Attempts to replicate the precision of the stonework have failed, and archaeologists, as well as stonemasons, are at a loss to explain how they accomplish such precise cuts without advanced technology.
Weird.
So this is a really big proponent of ancient aliens.
Okay.
Because our boy Giorgio went out there and went to this place. And there's when you go to the temple...
The hair guy?
Yeah. There's one area where it's just like a big open door, and they say that that's the doorway to the other world.
Ooh.
So was it really a gateway, or was it like a portal from another dimension for aliens to come in? Did aliens help them build this? But look at how perfectly straight those stones are.
Yeah, it looks like...
It's fucking amazing.
That's the Hilton.
Yeah, it probably was. It probably was just a big hotel at the top of the mountain in Bolivia.
Yep, it had flashing lights on it at one time. Like Las Vegas. Maybe that was Las Vegas.
It was Vegas. It was the Vegas of the Andes.
Yep, 15,000 years ago.
The Venus figurines of the European Paleolithic era.
See, that's what women's supposed to look like.
Paleolithic.
Those are womanly bodies.
The Venus figurines is a term given to a collection of prehistoric statuettes of women made during the Paleolithic period, mostly found in Europe, but with finds as far as Siberia. To date, more than 200 of the figurines have been found, all of whom are portrayed with similar physical attributes, including curvaceous bodies with large breasts, bottoms, abdomens, hips, and thighs, and usually tapered at the top and bottom. The heads are often relatively small size and devoid of detail, and most are missing hands and feet. Some appear to represent pregnant women, while others show no such signs. There have been many different interpretations of the figurines, but none based on any kind of solid evidence. The term Venus figurines is controversial in itself. Inspired by Venus, the ancient Greek goddess of love, it assumes that the figures represent a goddess. Of course, this is one possible explanation, but it is just one of many interpretations that have been proposed. A considerable diversity of opinion exists in the archaeological and paleoanthropological literature regarding the possible functions and significance of these objects. Some of the different theories put forward include fertility symbols, self-portraits, Stone Age dolls, realistic depiction of actual women, ideal representations of female beauty, religious icons, representations of a mother goddess, or even the equivalent of pornographic imagery.
Oh, you think that's what that was?
Like many prehistoric artifacts, the cultural meaning may never be known.
That was your picture. You had to carry your little pocket.
That was your
pocket woman.
Yeah.
That you rubbed on.
Made out of wood.
Made out of wood. Some of them were stone.
Yeah,
so
I'd rather have a stone one.
you sat down and were carving out what your wife looked like.
I'd rather have a stone one.
So you could take it with you.
Because if you're going to put it in somebody's butt, you don't want splinters in your rectum.
Stop. I knew you were going there. You're always butt stuff. That is not... No, that's what kids played with, like a Barbie doll. Because kids play with Barbie dolls that are women. And why would they not?
I made a doll for your butt.
I'm going to stop talking now. These are very curvaceous little statues. So I think they were dolls for kids, maybe.
Well, I bet they were probably dolls, and they might have even been fertility symbols.
Yeah, fertility symbols.
The fertility goddess, things like that.
Yeah, when you see the goddesses, they're always curvaceous.
But they all got back.
Well, that one has a big old badonkadonk.
She's got like the ones you see. This one looks like she's twerking.
It does.
Because she's got big, giant butt cheeks.
Why are there lines under it?
I don't know.
Is that an ice cream cone?
Those are her legs, I think.
That's
her dress.
That's a double scoop ice cream cone.
Yeah, that's what it really is. It's probably a sign for an old ice cream shop. But they said, oh, it looks like a female.
The creepy sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
With like the broken... with the broken speaker.
It's pretty fucking weird. Pretty weird.
I think those are dolls. I think those are like...
They probably are.
Like kids carried around.
That would be a kid I wouldn't want to mess with because, like, if you pissed her off, she could hit you, crane you in the head with that thing.
Crane you in the head?
Fucking Yeah, because that'd be the sound it would make.
Krang! Yes, she could krang you in the head. Don't mess with me, Daddy. I'm going
Right.
to krang you in the head.
Hey, this is cool. The unknown burial place of Alexander the Great.
Ooh.
One of the great mysteries of antiquity is the final burial place of Alexander the Great. Ancient historian Diodorus wrote that Alexander's body was mummified and placed in a golden sarcophagus, which was then placed in another golden casket and transported on a wagon to his burial site.
A box in a box in a box.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was put in one of those fucking Siberian nesting vases.
Oh, yeah. Those that when you go to Germany, it's a nesting doll.
Yeah.
It's like a little person inside of a person.
He was like a fucking emperor, and they put him in nesting dolls.
His version of a nesting doll. Maybe he asked for that in his will.
Maybe he had a fascination with
You're going to
nesting
put
dolls.
me in a golden sarcophagus nesting doll.
Gold upon gold.
Yes, it has to be. I will haunt you if you do not put me in a gold nesting doll.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. So anyway, his burial site was said to be the Temple of Amun in Siwa in Egypt. However, Ptolemy, a close friend of Alexander's, and a general in his army, is reported to have met the cortege on its route from Persia to Egypt and proposed to bury Alexander in Alexandria instead of Siwa. But is this really what happened all those years ago? Dun, dun, dun. To this day, the burial site of Alexander the Great has never been found. If and when it is anticipated to be among the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time.
Yeah, there's 4 gold boxes he's in.
Fuck yeah. I bet somebody already did find it, melted that gold down, and threw his fucking bones in the ocean.
Or in that pot that we saw on the other one.
Yeah. Or used it to
In a
make beef
jar.
broth.
Ooh, beef broth's good. Alexander the Great beef broth.
Right.
I wonder if they
this
sold
is
that
the
on eBay.
greatest beef broth ever.
No,
Well, yeah, because it was made from the Great.
Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
That's right.
Fucking,
It's on eBay.
right? Don't tell me, motherfucker. I make the greatest beef broth around.
Out of Alexander the Great's bones.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
We got time for one more, I think.
Salzburg. Yeah.
The Salzburg cube. It doesn't look like a cube at
That
all.
looks like an egg.
It looks like an alien
dinosaur
egg from Aliens.
I went dinosaur, you went alien. Yes.
In 1885, Riedel, an employee at an Austrian foundry, discovered the mysterious Salzburg cube, also known as the wolf's egg iron. He cracked open a seam of coal to find a strange-looking iron cube inside it. It had many cracks and little holes in it, as well as a strange color and a deep fissure down the middle. Riedel had never seen anything like it before, so after showing it to his boss, they turned it over to the Hymethius Museum. The next year, a professor at the museum named Adolf Gerlt studied the cube and determined to be part of a meteorite. But further studies by the Natural History Museum in Vienna proved that it was not in fact a meteorite, but artificially manufactured from an unknown source. It is thought that the coal that produced the Salzburg cube was at least 60 million years old. Adding to the mystery of the cube is how some people actually believe it to have vanished. The reasons for this range from it being a part of a shadowy conspiracy to it simply being debunked as a worthless piece of rock and tossed away as such.
It's in Warehouse 13.
Dude, that's a cool thing. I
cool.
think it's an alien egg, and I bet the guy that found it didn't realize it. He was inches away from a face hugger on his face.
Oh, you think so? It looks like that debris. A piece of that new show we're watching is called
Yeah.
Debris. It looks like a piece of that. I love you guys.
Well, we're
Thanks
done
for
with the
coming.
show, guys. Thanks for
Thanks
listening.
Love you.
Give us an email, thedeadtimeradio@gmail.com. And we're out of here. We'll talk to you next time.
Love you. Bye.